What's up, everybody? It's Friday. Are we happy the weekend is finally here? Football is finally back tomorrow. No more of this international nonsense for a good while. We can actually relax, get stuck into the season. How are we? I hope we're all in a good mood. You're going to be absolutely spoiled today on Anfield Agenda, folks. You got me here for the early show. Then you're going to have Mr. James Redmond here for the 8:45 show. So settle yourselves in. You mean the weather's shit, there's not much to do outside. So settle in, have a bit of fun with Anfield Agenda. Kick the weekend off. Look, ladies and gentlemen, it is Friday, but I've also got to give a shout out to our sponsors. Manscaped.com. Get yourselves over to manscaped.com. Look at the all-new Performance Package 4.0 featuring the Lawnmower 4.0, Weed Whacker, ear and nose hair trimmer, Paddy's favourite, the ball toner, ball deodorant, travel bag, which is called the Shed, which actually really, it's my favourite thing about it. I love it. I use it to put all my stuff in when I go away on a trip or anything like that. And you also get the boxer briefs as well. Most importantly, you get 20% off and free shipping with our discount code WFM20, and your balls will thank you. How are we, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome. We will talk about Jurgen Klopp's press conference. We will talk about a little bit of transfer gossip. I love it. I'm loving the vibe in the chat lately, by the way. I don't know if maybe James has brought over some friendly people as well, but my God, you guys have been on form lately. So let me say a massive thank you to you all for the kindness that you're showing to the newbies on board the channel as well. We need Adeyemi, says Marcus. Marcus, we will go through it all. Let's start off, though, with a little bit of a conversation around Jurgen Klopp's press conference today. He was speaking about it, and he said on Harvey's rehab, Harvey's doing really well, but there's still some time needed between now and the moment he can start to play for us again. I know when we see the pictures of Harvey Elliott out jogging around Kirby and stuff, it just lifts the soul, folks, doesn't it? It makes you just smile and think, yeah, he's not that far away. But I just got to say, what Klopp always said, don't expect him to be rushed back, because look, it's one thing out to see him putting weight on his ankle and running around the pitch and doing some stuff for the aqua aerobics or whatever it might have been, or aqua rehab, but yeah, it might be a while yet, so I don't want to put a time on it, but you know, let's wait and see what happens. He was also speaking about Nico Williams and Nico Williams' great international form, and this is what the gaffer had to say. Nico was pushing. He's a young player who plays at LFC. It's not easy to get time in the team. He did really well for Wales, especially offensively. 1 second. Is that it? Yes, especially offensively. So he was talking about Nico. And look, there's been loads of talk that Nico might get some more opportunities in the January period, where Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane, Naby, Keita and that are going to be heading off to the AFCON. Speaking actually about that, there was something else that Klopp was speaking about with regards to the AFCON. No, actually, that's something I'm hanging off on. Sorry, my bad. That's something I'm hanging off on. Right, so, loads of stuff. Get your predictions in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Whatever you want to say about the game tomorrow. I'm going for a big balls out 4-1 win for the Reds. Klopp was talking about injuries as well today, particularly about Jordan Henderson and Andy Robertson. He said they didn't train with the rest of the team yet. They did some rehab recovery stuff. It'll be a late decision. Sadio was good. Fabinho did recovery, and the plan was for Fabinho to train today. So look, again, whenever I hear Klopp say it'll be a late decision, to me it usually means they won't play. I hope I'm wrong, particularly about Jordan Henderson, because I think we need Henderson in this game. If no Henderson, then for me it'll be a Fabinho, Thiago, and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain midfield at a guess. But look, I don't care what midfield we put out. We should be looking to beat Arsenal tomorrow, and I don't care that they're coming into the game in good form. It's our gaff. We're coming off the back of a defeat. We need to put it right, and I'm backing the lads to put it right tomorrow. What's up with Mbappe 30 mil? All good things come to those who wait, my friend. I mean, you know, you don't want me to just get straight into it, mate. You gotta tickle the balls a little bit here, mate. You know what I mean? We gotta have a little bit of fun. We will get to the Kylian Mbappe stuff, and we'll get to the transfer stuff as well. Don't worry. I did actually. What can I say from this? So I reached out to a good friend of mine who's a well-respected journalist in Spain, and I inquired about the idea of Thiago Alcantara maybe going back to Barcelona. And in a broad-ranging way, it's not 100% out of the question, but it's not something that's anyway along either. So again, I have to be careful about what I say here because I don't want to get anybody in trouble and I don't want to give anybody false information. So from my reading of the situation, not based off what this person said, but from my reading of the whole situation, I think there might be something to certainly Xavi wanting to bring Thiago back to Barcelona. For varying other reasons that I may be able to give more details of over the course of the weekend, but just let me hang off on it a little bit if that's okay, because again, I want to do my research. But how do I fucking say this? It would be plausible that of the players who are at Barcelona right now, you know, you look at the young players that are there, Gavi, you look at Pedri, Ansu Fati, Moriba, lots of good young players there. Somebody who hasn't really been able to develop at Barcelona because of the situation there, not through any real fault of his own, is Frankie de Jong. And if, and it is a huge if, Xavi did manage to convince Thiago that maybe he should come back and help out his mate Sergio Busquets, who, you know, Xavi wants to limit his game time because he wants Busquets to be fresh, then maybe you can start to understand why the conversation about Thiago potentially being of interest to Barcelona becomes a reality. But all of this has to have a huge caveat beside it. That caveat being Barcelona are absolutely broke at the minute. Absolutely flat broke. Not just worrying about FFP, but La Liga have their own FFP in place that all clubs have to input all the financial information into this supercomputer that La Liga have, and La Liga then basically tell them what their budget is that they can work with. And Barcelona, as we all know, are absolutely flat broke at the minute. So what it would take was either Barcelona to move somebody on, whether that's a Felipe Coutinho, whether that's an Ousmane Dembele, whether that's, I don't know, anybody, pick. Then Barcelona maybe have a bit of wiggle room to start to look at somebody else. So that's all I can say. That's all the information I'm able to say. And take into account that a lot of this is personal opinion. There are finer details, can't talk about them, but certainly I think that there is some truth to the stories linking Thiago back to Barcelona. But by that, I don't mean to say that Thiago wants to go to Barcelona. I mean, with Xavi coming back, particularly around the minutes that Busquets is getting, obviously Busquets, amazing holding midfielder, but somebody who's getting on in age. And Xavi likes Barcelona to play in a very fluid, attacking, high-energy style of football, that Barcelona DNA. So you could see how he could rotate between maybe Thiago and Sergio Busquets in that central role. That's all I'm saying. Now, after that, you know, you can talk about Frankie de Jong being on 350 grand a week and the fact we aren't going to pay that, and you'd be right. We're not going to pay 350 grand a week. So, yeah. So, look, just take it with a pinch of salt at the minute, but we'll keep an eye on the situation. That's the best way I can put it out there. Craig, you're getting me a bit excited here. Look, I'm not saying anything, and I'm not saying anything. What I can say is that I was expecting the idea to be rebuffed rather quickly when I floated it to this person, when I sent them the voice note. I was expecting a reply back to, you know, be very blunt and say, no, absolutely not. Ridiculous idea. But there you go. Right, what have we got? Mbappe news. Again, chill. We'll get there. Pedri is going to be a Barca lifer, said Jamie. Yeah, look, I don't see Pedri going anywhere. You know, part of the conversation I had with my friend in Spain was that Barcelona have an amazing group of 4, 5, 6 youngsters around 17 to 20 years of age. And the feeling was that those youngsters can't be expected to deliver immediate success on their own, that you would need that little bit of a sprinkling of experience to help guide them to the success that Barca crave, obviously. So look, let's just wait and see. Let's just wait and see what happens there. On the Mbappe stuff, right, let's get into it. I don't want to hold anybody up. On the Mbappe stuff, it says, Liverpool are preparing a massive contract offer worth €30 million per year to beat Real Madrid to the signing of PSG superstar Kylian Mbappe. Liverpool are planning to blow Real Madrid out of the picture in the race to sign Mbappe this summer, and that comes from an outlet called Defensa Central. I don't know if there is any truth to this, but ask yourselves this. €30 million a year equates to about €600,000 per week. Has anything in the makeup of Liverpool Football Club since FSG taken over led us to believe that even for a superstar like Kylian Mbappe, who could be on a free transfer, although there's no such thing as a free lunch, you know what I'm saying, with regards to a transfer fee, I don't think I live in a world that I'm going to see Liverpool paying €600,000 a week to anybody. So for me, this is another clutching at straws, nonsense piece of writing, and I don't believe it. You know, I don't fucking believe. How are Liverpool going to pony up 600 grand a week for Kylian Mbappe? Not without, dare I say it, moving on Mohamed Salah. So I don't think it's true, but I had a conversation just before I came on air actually with Connor, and we were talking about chit chat really, but we got to talking about the situation at the club, and then we were talking about last night's stream where I was chatting with Paddy and James, and we were talking about, you know, the evolution and what a shame it would be if Jurgen Klopp didn't get to really build his second Liverpool team. And then I suppose my mind went to, well, how do we go about building this team if you are looking to bring in superstars or the next generation of great players? And I'm intrigued. I don't know how it's going to pan out, folks. I won't lie, I'm worried. I'm worried about the direction that Liverpool are going right now. I'm worried that we're treading water and we're not really looking to push on. But I'm hoping that behind the scenes there's stuff going on that will make sense to us in the next transfer window. Because again, going by reports coming out from the Echo today, they add that Liverpool are unlikely to add to their ranks in the January transfer window. That's despite Mohamed Salah, Naby, Keita and Sadio Mane heading to the AFCON. Now look, I've been really honest with you guys for the past month or two. I don't think we're doing business in January. That's my own personal opinion. The Echo have their opinion, which for once actually coincides with my own opinion. So I don't think we'll do much business, if any business, in January. Now, you can never say never, because sometimes a situation arises where it just makes sense to take a punt. It makes sense to roll the dice for a relatively modest transfer fee. You know, the likes of that Thiago situation, for example. If somebody like that became available where, you know, it wasn't a whole lot of money, but you were going to get an experienced player in for, you know, relatively small transfer fee, maybe it'll be looked at. Maybe a youngster will come available who the club think is a bargain. You know, you can never rule these things out. But I don't think we do business in January unless something dramatic happens. I really don't. And I know that's not the news everybody wants to hear, but I think it's the honest news. Right, I'm going to go through your comments, though, because I see there's loads of stuff in the chat that I need to catch up with. Don't sign players prone to injury. Wayne, mate, I couldn't agree with you more, mate. I couldn't. Mate, I've been banging... I'm saying mate a lot here. I'm like, Wayne, I've been banging my head off the wall here for the last few days trying to figure out how we've ended up with what I deem to be a fairly injury-prone group, particularly around midfield. Not knocking any of them, because no player's fault they're injured. Nobody wants to be injured. But yeah, it is. It sounds so simple, doesn't it, Wayne? You know, don't sign injury-prone players. But you're right, mate. We do have a little bit of a concern with players who don't seem to be robust enough. And look, that could be down to the sheer demands, the physical demands that Jurgen Klopp's methods put on the players' bodies, and the sheer amount of games, both international and club level, that high-level players have been asked to play these days. Speaking Facts, whose name is actually contradictory to the bullshit that's coming out of his keyboard, but stop talking craziness by linking Mbappe with Liverpool. Look, dickhead. Firstly, if you actually watch Princess, you'll see that it isn't Lord Craig Houlden link, and I am a Lord, by the way, so watch your fucking tongue. It isn't Lord Craig Houlden linking Kylian Mbappe with Liverpool. It is Defence Central linking him with Liverpool. I don't think he's going to sign for Liverpool. I think there's more chance of me signing for Liverpool than Kylian Mbappe. But while these stories are being produced, it is my job to bring them to you guys to talk about them. If you lost me when you said Liverpool, mate, because you're clearly somebody who's a little butthurt with the way their season's going at the minute. Dare I suggest you could be perhaps a Manchester United fan, or if we were to go into the realms of fantasy, maybe a Manchester City fan. Right, we move. What's your thoughts on the stuff that happened on Twitter last night? Yeah, look, I know everything you're talking about. I have all the information you're talking about, and it was a whole spiel of, how do I put this? It was a whole lot to digest in what was put out on Twitter last night by, I believe, a New York Times journalist. Now, I don't want to go over it because it is a minefield, and it is not something that I have enough information that I feel like I can add to the conversation. But fair to say that a lot of what was written is absolutely disgusting. And I hope and pray that it's not true, but I fear it is true. And if it is true, those responsible, be it individual footballers, be it agents, be it football clubs, they need to be held accountable, because I'm genuinely worried about the direction that humanity is headed in right now. So much bad behaviour, so much hate, so much bullshit. And by bullshit, I mean fake information. It's been normalised when everybody, to a man, woman and child, should be standing up and calling that shit out. So much nonsense, so much hate being spewed. It makes me concerned about if we'll ever come out of this COVID world of, fear of humans, because we are, as human beings, it's in our DNA to want to be around, interact, touch, hug, shake hands with other humans, and we've had to reverse engineer our thinking over the past 2 years, and I feel like it's made us all a little bit colder, a little bit more sterile, and a little bit more prone to digesting despicable, disgusting news and normalizing it. And we can't allow that to happen as people. We can't normalize stuff that is absolutely god-awful. So I'm hoping that legally this stuff comes out more and we can discuss it more. But until the full article is released, and I believe that's going to be released on Tuesday if my memory's right, then we'll discuss it. Until then, you know what I mean? I've got to be careful what we say, but I am worried. I'm worried for fucking humanity at this moment in time, because I don't know if this was me, but I'm sick of seeing negativity. I'm sick of it. Everybody is angry. Everybody wants more money. It's just not a great place. So I'm just going to stick to my little Liverpool bubble and enjoy the fun and try and live in blissful ignorance, if that's all right for the time being, because my God, if you want the information off Twitter, for those that are in our Anfield Agenda Discord group, the information was already shared in there by one of our members. If you guys want to become a member and join our Discord group and become a member of the channel, there is a link at the top of the live chat. Like most other channels, it's $4.99 a month. You get the Anfield Agenda Discord group, you get the emojis, you get the Anfield Agenda logo beside your name, and your name appears in green to me and other members. What happened on Twitter? Kate, honestly, mate, it's not something that you can summarize in a few sentences. There was a drop of information by a journalist, I believe from the New York Times, and let's just say, Kate, shocking is all I can say, mate. Shocking. I don't have Twitter, so I want to know what happened, but I don't at the same time. You don't, mate. I wish I didn't know. I don't want to think that what is posted there is true. Right. I'll give you a couple of things from it. So it was alleged that a French international paid women to allow him to defecate in their mouths and filmed it. That was one of the things on it. there was stuff around the treatment of women, more stuff I should say, around the treatment of women in a very despicable way. There was stuff about cover-ups. There was stuff about the stuff that certain teams get up to. You don't want to know. Honestly, I mean, it's there. If your morbid curiosity gets the better of you, go onto Twitter, have a look. Fabrizio Romano, I think, was interacting on one or two of these things as well, which would only, of course, lend more credibility to the story. But yeah, it's fucking, look, it's sick. I can't think of any other phrase. And if it is true, and I've no reason to believe it isn't true, but if it is true, again, you got to give major credit to the journalist, because what I've loved and look, this is going off on a tangent a little bit here, but I've loved the fact that there are some brave journalists that are doing great work at the minute, who are uncovering and talking about atrocities that we need to face up to. We can't just turn our backs on these things. But look, let's get back to football anyway. Did this journal find any hidden evidence on the Ronaldo trial? I don't know, to be honest with you, Jamie. I don't know what the journalist has on the... Oh, there's nothing in the leak that I've seen about Ronaldo. No. Connor said there, Romain Molina is the journalist if people want to go and have a look. So it's ROMAINMOLINA is how you spell his name. Right, so let's get back to Arsenal for a little minute tomorrow. What are you guys saying for the starting 11 tomorrow? Because, I think I shocked everybody a little bit when I put Divock in my starting 11 to take on Arsenal. So, Yusuf, have you got like 7-2 Tourette's there, dickhead? Do you know what I mean? I'm well aware we lost the game 7-2 last year, Yusuf, but fuck me, mate, if that's all you have to talk about, mate, if that's it, like if you're so obsessed with us or me, and 7-2 is still what you're shouting on about, mate, relax. We lost 7-2. Shit happens, do you know what I mean? Fuck me. The offensive defender, yeah, we spoke last night about the fact that FSG are about to complete a purchase of the Pittsburgh Penguins NHL team. I don't know how this fits into... Well, look, quite frankly, it doesn't fit into the idea of building this model of clubs around the world that we were told could be a possibility with regards to FSG maybe buying another football team and that being a sister club or feeder club maybe to Liverpool. What they're doing here certainly doesn't play into that for me anyway. I can't see any way that I can link the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Boston Red Sox, Liverpool, Fenway Racing, and I think the Boston Globe. I mean, I don't know how you link all of those other than to say that they're assets that will make FSG money. But certainly from a sporting project, I don't see how any of this benefits Boston Red Sox fans. I don't see how it benefits Liverpool fans. I just see it as another distraction for our owners, which is going to take away from the focus of our football club. And with all due respect to Boston Red Sox fans, to Pittsburgh Penguins fans, and I'm sure they feel the same, I couldn't give a fuck what happens to the Boston Red Sox. I couldn't give a shite what happens to the Pittsburgh Penguins. I only care about my football club, your football club, Liverpool Football Club. And if attention has been taken away from the rebuild that Jurgen Klopp needs to be allowed to do, then I'm not happy. And I know you're not happy. And why should we be happy? Do you know what I mean? So, I'm confused. I'm confused as to the reasoning behind the takeover of Pittsburgh Penguins, other than, obviously, making more money. I mean, that's the long and short of it. What else have we got? Are you that bloke from Craig Station? I think that's probably the first time I've ever been asked that. Yes, of course I am, mate. This is my home. This is the first channel we started. Actually, on Craig Station, I'm fairly sure I'm going to change the name back to Mundo Sport, though. I just think it fits better and it doesn't limit as much. So I know we already had this conversation, and I know people were will say to me, no, we prefer the name Craig Station because you did. But for me, I don't. Sorry, I got distracted by a message. I don't I don't think it's as good a name as Mundo Sport though. Personally, sorry. Sorry, I just got a reply to somebody here. Sorry, I just had to reply to somebody there. It was important, so there we go. Sorry, folks. Craig, who do you fancy in the darts tonight? Hand on heart, Jamie. I actually haven't had a chance to watch much of the darts, mate. I did see Fallon Sherrick's come back the other night. Actually, it was amazing. The 170 checkout was absolutely phenomenal. And then I think she back to back 100 plus checkouts against Mensur Sulovic as well. But I haven't had a chance to watch it, but I will watch tonight. Do this. When I first saw you on Mundo, I watched because it sounded grand. See, that's it. I think the name is. I think the name Mundo Sporto's deadly. I think it works better. Would you rather splash the cash on one star player or buy 2, 3 decent players to improve squad depth? I think, Jake, I'd like to answer that question, but I'd like to caveat it first. So, if you said to me, would I like to Liverpool to buy 1 star player or 2 to 3 good squad players, the caveat would be that we don't lose any of the stars that we already have. So to answer the question, I'd want to make sure that Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane, Bobby Firmino, Virgil van Dijk don't go anywhere. So if that's the case, I'd take 2 to 3 good players to help push the squad on, because I think we need another forward. I think we need another midfielder. So yeah, I'd go with the 2 to 3 option. But if you said to me, hey Jude, do you know what I mean? Nah, 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 nah. Then I might have to think. What do you relate more to, Peter Griffin or Homer Simpson? I think I'm a little bit more clever than both, to be honest. But who do I relate more to? I'm going I'm gonna say Peter Griffin, because sometimes I think my dog talks to me as well. So probably Peter Griffin. What does Mundo mean? I think it means world. I mean, the name Mundo Sport, though, we didn't come up with a name because we thought it meant anything. Long story, but it was a blag account that we had ages ago for fake transfer stories from a journalist. It's a long story. If Milner leaves in the summer, who takes the number 7? I think Harvey's a great show, Anthony. I think Harvey's a great show. If Jimmy leaves and Harvey Elliott wants to change his number, I'm with you. I think Harvey Elliott taking the 7 feels right, doesn't it? So yeah, I'd back you on that one. As Connor said, Mundo means world and Sporto means that we can't speak Spanish. Well played, Connor. Well played. Um, which is true, yeah. Right, let's get some more questions before we finish up. Just a reminder, by the way, James Redmond going to be doing his first ever solo stream on Anfield Agenda tonight, 8:45. Make sure you're there to. I know you'll be there to show him some love, because you've always been here to show anyone that's come on the channel some love. But I will be here tomorrow. Most important thing, I'll be here tomorrow. I'm not going anywhere yet, by the way, so don't be running off. We've got 10 minutes to go. I'll be here tomorrow. Match day content starting from 4:50 p.m. Game kicks off at 5:30. We'll be going live from 4:50 p.m. with our match build up as normal. We'll have our watch along. Then we'll have me and a post match show. Then we'll have a panel post match reaction show, and then I will post up my player ratings later on as well. So yeah, tomorrow for the post-match show, we're going to have Paddy Murphy, and I'm not sure yet. We're waiting on confirmation on our second guest. And then we'll have some match reaction video. So James Redmond's going to send us a little video from outside the ground. Chris is going to the game. He's going to send us a little video. Paddy's going to send us a little video. So we'll get some 5 to 8 minute match reactions as well, as we look to push out the level of content we put on match days. JK said, don't know if you mentioned it, but thoughts on Thiago to Barcelona. Oh, I mentioned it, mate. Oh, I mentioned it. I went further than mentioning it. I spoke to a very well-placed journalist, friend of mine in Spain, who broadly speaking, understood why I was asking the question. And theoretically, it's a possibility, but there is certainly nothing in motion at the minute to suggest that Thiago's on his way to Barcelona. Again, it would take Barcelona to free up some money from somewhere to move him on. You know, if we're all sitting here dreaming, we're thinking, well, is there anything to be done with Frankie de Jong? You know, maybe Frankie de Jong going the other direction, but then you say to yourself, Frankie de Jong, I believe, is currently on about 350,000 quid a week at Barcelona, so you know, you don't really see that being a goer. Even though Thiago's on a fair wage as well, it would probably take Thiago to go at the end of the season, James Milner to decide that he wants to hang up his boots or move on, and then you'd probably have the wage, but you're still only you'd have the wage for one midfielder when you're losing two, so it doesn't really solve any issues. But again, we'll wait and see. Hello from Sabah, Malaysia. How are we? Welcome, Alrish. Lovely to have you in. Thiago just doesn't feel in it with us. Yeah, I mean, what? It's a really difficult conversation to have, isn't it? But my thinking has been that I'm open to the idea of Thiago moving on because I don't know how we're going to get the best out of him. I don't. And people are going to say Thiago's a world-class midfielder, and I'm not going to argue with you. But are we going to get to see enough of him? Because has he played 5 games in a row for us? I don't know. Genuinely, I'm confused because I feel like we're carrying too many midfielders that are potentially injury prone. Like, to be fair to Chamberlain, injury hasn't been an issue for him this season. More consistency. Thiago, you know, he's had a couple of injuries since he's come to Liverpool. Hendo has had some injuries recently. Milner, of course, is getting on in age as well. Curtis Jones currently out with a bit of an anomaly, to be fair. I mean, you can't help somebody scratching your eye. That's nothing. You can't do anything about that. And then we have Fabinho in the holding midfield also. I think, genuinely, as a conversation piece, I think it should be on the table for a debate that the Thiago project is a debatable. I don't think I don't think we can say it's been a massive success. I don't think we can say it's been a failure. But I do think if we're to look at it from a wage point of view, we need to find out how to start playing and using Thiago Alcantara to the best of his and our abilities, or the years will go by, he will get older, and we will bring through players who will progress in midfield, and Thiago will potentially fall to the wayside. It's a difficult conversation to have because you're battling your emotions with reasoning. Your emotions are, Thiago's amazing. Thiago is an absolute baller. Thiago brings something we don't have. But nostalgia is a bitch as well. And are we looking at Thiago in prime Bayern Munich, Barcelona days and being clouded by that judgment? Because in the cold light of day, I don't remember more than 2 or 3 very, very good games Thiago's had at Liverpool. And I want Thiago to be a success. I want to love Thiago Alcantara because there's so much to admire about the way the guy plays the game of football. But at the end of the day, our midfield is more of a workhorse under Jurgen Klopp, and very rarely have we seen somebody be allowed to show flair, be allowed to express themselves in the way that Thiago can influence a game. You almost have to look at him as a luxury player to some extent, even though that's a lazy word to use. How do we get the best out of Thiago? That's basically what I'm trying to say. What's your current prediction where Liverpool will finish in all 4 competitions? I think we win the Champions League. I'm not joking. I genuinely think we win the Champions League. I think probably finish 3rd in the Premier League. I hope we take the League Cup seriously because there's the potential there to win it. We've a home draw against Leicester and then a two-legged semi-final. And look, the FA Cup, haven't got a clue. You know what I mean? It's not even started yet, so... Well, it has, but not for us. He was amazing in our final stretch of last season. Amazing? I don't know if I'd use the word amazing, to be honest with you. I think the group as a whole last year really, they all deserve our praises for the way they dug themselves out of the hole last year to get the league place. And Alisson's header and the emergence of Nat Phillips at the time and Reece Williams on occasion. I think they all dug in, but I wouldn't say he was amazing. I think that's a little bit over the top. If his name wasn't Thiago, would we be saying how amazing he was? I don't know. Is it confirmed no signings in January? Not confirmed, but again, it was reported again today in the Echo that the club don't plan on making any January additions. Hellier said, Thiago's a fantastic player. Look at him as perfect China porcelain. But to get the best out of him, you need a balanced team against an opponent that you can utilise such talent. But my argument to you would be, we know all this before we bring him in. So what was the plan when we bring Thiago in? How are we going to utilise him? Because let's not forget, the elephant in the room here is that Thiago's on about 200 grand a week. Or 180 grand a week. So he's one of the highest paid players at the football club. Rightly so, because of his experience and his quality. But my argument is, I don't look at a piece of porcelain sitting on a press or a counter in my house knowing that it's costing me 200 grand a week to sit there and look lovely. You know, if it was costing me 200 grand a week, I'd want the fucking China porcelain to be doing backflips around my living room. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think it's an easy conversation to have. And like Abby, I thought Thiago was going to lead to years of dominance for us as well. When we signed Thiago, particularly after he came on against Chelsea when they were down to 10 men in that first game, I thought, oh, here we go. I mean, to say I was excited when we signed Thiago was an understatement. I was absolutely buzzing. And I hope that there is a way that Jurgen Klopp can find to get the best out of Thiago Alcantara, because we all want them to succeed massively. And Thiago is a proven winner. And Thiago has won league titles and trophies every single club he's been at, because he is a quality footballer. But we just need to show, we need to find a way to get the quality out of Thiago, because look, none of us are going to sit here and tell you that Thiago isn't quality. But, you know, that China analogy may well be a good one. But again, sitting there with 200 grand a week. Do you think Harvey Barnes could be as good as Mane? Look, I've been talking about Harvey Barnes, Chester, for a very long time, and Liverpool's interest in Harvey Barnes. I think Harvey Barnes and Jared Bowen, as an example from the Premier League, are very, very Jurgen Klopp type players. Harvey Barnes signed a new contract with Leicester, so, you know, I'd say the likelihood of us bringing in Harvey Barnes, minimalistic. But Rafinha, there does seem to be a little bit of wiggle room on, because I think Rafinha's agent is setting up for a potential summer move for Rafinha. Again, though, I don't think happening in January. Fabio said, Thiago, huge player with high ability, but the Premier League is too much for him. Physicality, he can play in a high level all season. Physically, he can play in a high level all season. I'd like to see him play more, but ... Yeah, that's it though, isn't it, Fabio? That's it, mate. You've said it in a nutshell there. His quality is unquestionable, but was it the wrong move for him? And look, sometimes with all goodwill in the world, sometimes these things can be the wrong move. And I would always commend somebody for taking a punt, because let's be honest, Thiago could have taken an easier route. You know, he looked at Liverpool and knew it was going to be a club with a great manager, a great fan base, a great history, a great group of players, but also a challenge. A challenge because the Premier League's the most competitive league in the world. You look at Chelsea, you look at Manchester City, you look at Liverpool, all capable of winning the Premier League. So there's no gimmies when you come into England to play football. It's a damn hard league where you've got to be at it week in or week out to get anything from it. Whereas in other leagues, you can coast through a few games. You can't do that in the Premier League. It's got to be, 100% effort week in and week out. When do you think Harvey will be back? Callum, I'll be just guessing, mate, and I don't want to do that because I want him to be right. Because look, Harvey Elliott's going to be class to have back, and it's really positive to see him out running around. But as Kloppo said himself, it'll be a while yet. It's one thing out there doing a little bit of running around. It's another thing getting yourself back up to match fitness and making sure that your ankle is capable of quick changes of direction and the explosiveness that Harvey has as part of his game. Kate said, I've got a feeling Thiago will stay. He has really bonded with the team, especially the young lads, like a father figure. Again, I can't disagree. I agree with you, Kate. When you see pictures of Thiago, he definitely looks like he's enjoying himself, and he definitely looks like he's settled in, and he definitely looks like he's bonded with the team. But as a football club, the way that we have such a tight-knit, small squad, I say small relative to Manchester City, Chelsea and Manchester United, we can't really afford to carry that type of player. And we can't, and by type of player I mean a luxury as in, well, you play him 15, 20 games a season, not on the wages that he's on when we're currently the second highest wage bill, I think, in the Premier League. So I'm confused. And I hope Thiago plays tomorrow. I hope Thiago absolutely rips Arsenal a new one. And I hope that I'm sitting here going, well, there's nothing to worry about there. Clearly, he's ready to go. Clearly, he's back and he's at his best. Nothing would make me happier. Oh, Chris. Chris said, why sign anyone when we've got the next Gareth Bale and the Belgian Lukaku? Oh, God. Yeah. Nico Williams, the next Gareth Bale. Again, imagine he turned out to be, though, Chris. Imagine. Do I think we'll get Bellingham in the summer? No, I don't. I think we get Bellingham. I'm sticking with this one. I think we sign Jude Bellingham. But I do think he might have another year in Dortmund after this season. There's been plenty of stories suggesting that the club are trying to bring in his younger brother Job and trying to settle the family in Dortmund, which is a masterstroke if they pull that off. But I do think Jude Bellingham is destined to play for Liverpool Football Club at some point, and dare I say it, wear the number 8. I just don't think it'll be next summer. I think he stays in Borussia Dortmund for another year because they'll probably move on Haaland. And they're going to want to keep the group together as long as they can. And interestingly, unlike Erling Haaland, Jude Bellingham doesn't have a release clause in his contract. So, Haaland, 75 million, you can trigger that next summer and, you're free to talk to the player. But, with Jude Bellingham, there's no release clause. Naby plus 60 million equals Jude. Does it, though? It's all very well and good us wishing that into existence, mate, but does it? I've got no idea if Borussia Dortmund would hold any interest in Naby Keita, nor do I have any idea if Naby Keita would have any interest in going to play in Germany again, or I don't know. It's the honest answer. We'll have to wait and see what happens. And I think we might get some of those creative type transfers next summer where clubs are looking to offset some of the expensive costs of player purchases, and maybe we get some more sort of trade deals. Or they often, with these type of trade deals, they don't actually say it's an exchange deal. They value one player at one amount going to one club, one player at another amount going to another club, and call them separate transfers. It must be for bookkeeping reasons. Okay, said Craig, I just read what Melina wrote. All of it surely can't be true. Well, look, ask yourself this, mate. And again, I don't know if it is or isn't, but why would he go out and publish these things, putting his reputation and potentially that of his employer, so I think of the New York Times? We're not talking nickel and diamond stuff here, mate. We're not talking some back arse of nowhere a media organization here. You're talking about one of the biggest in the world. And, I like to think, like with Ronan Farrow when he did his excellent work on the Harvey Weinstein trial, I like to think that he has everything he needs backed up. Actually, look, I know he will have everything he needs backed up, double checked, triple checked. You don't put out them type of allegations without having a lot of ammunition. So I would say that there's probably more stuff to come, and that was the tip of the iceberg. And if it is, I hope again that we see a clean-up job, and the clean-up job done properly, because that is disgusting. It is disgusting. Look, I'm going to leg it anyway. Someone said our links allowed in the chat. Only moderators, I believe, can post links. Rafter, I'm fairly certain only moderators can post links in the chat. Could be wrong on that, but I think I'm right. Right, look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leg it, but James Redmond will be here at 8:45 tonight for his first solo stream on Anfield Agenda. I'll be back tomorrow for the match watch along, starting from 4:50 p.m. Don't forget, drop a like on the video, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to check out manscaped.com for any Christmas presents for those loved ones in your life. Maybe they've got hairy balls, maybe they want to use the all-new 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner, or the body wash infused with sea salt and aloe vera. You can get 20% off and free shipping with our discount code WFM20, and not only will I thank you, your balls will thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Look, I will talk to you guys soon. Enjoy your weekend. Don't forget to show James lots of